Have you ever wished the universe would just hand you a cheat code, a shortcut to manifesting? No more battling with your thoughts, no more wondering if you're doing it right. Last week, in my instant manifesting video, which has already had over 20,000 views, I showed you why most people's manifesting is actually back to front. And if you saw it, you'll know how freeing it can be to spot that mistake. But here's the thing. Once you do spot it, the next question is obvious. Okay, so what's the right way round? That's exactly what I'm going to show you today, the real shortcut. And if you didn't see that last video, no worries, this one stands alone. But I'll link it in the description so you can watch it afterwards if you want the full picture. But I have to warn you, it's not what you think. In fact, most people miss it because they're so busy chasing the wrong things. So let me show you what they're missing and how you can start experiencing real shifts almost instantly. At one time, I had lists. I scripted my future, believing that somehow that would pull the future I wanted into being. I had affirmations on post-it notes on my fridge. I even chanted them out loud in the car sometimes. I remember it felt kind of silly, but that wasn't the overriding feeling. The overriding feeling was that something was off. I couldn't explain it at the time, and to be honest, I didn't want to know. I was desperate to change my life. But looking back now, I realise the thing that felt off was this. If I had to keep telling the universe what I wanted over and over, then how did all the people who already had what they wanted do it without any of these rituals? The secret to success and happiness wasn't in these techniques, but that was all I had, so I kept going and crossed my mental fingers. I was doing everything right, according to the books, the gurus, the manifesting crowd. And yet, I was still broke, still single, still waiting for my life to begin. Maybe you can relate. You visualize, you script, you repeat your affirmations until you're blue in the face. But instead of attracting what you want, you end up more frustrated, more self-critical, more confused. I used to lie awake at night thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I crack this? And it wasn't until something happened, a single quiet moment, that I realized I'd been trying to manifest in the most backwards way possible. We'll come back to that in a moment, because it changed everything. By the way, if money is the thing you're struggling with right now, I've made a short free video called Effortless Money Manifesting. It's not a technique, it's not a trick. It's a complete shift in how you see the problem and why it keeps repeating. You'll find the link at the top of the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. All right, let's get back to this shortcut. The part that most people find difficult at first is this. No technique of any kind is involved. I found that difficult too, because if there's no technique, what are you supposed to do? Let me explain with an example. If I tell you to blink 10 times quickly, you can do that, right? You don't have to, I know you can. But if I told you to blink exactly 15 times a minute all day, every day, it would be an assignment from hell. Even if you could do it, so much of your attention would be taken up with trying to succeed, you'd get almost nothing else done. It's the same when you try to think positive or force yourself with affirmations when you don't feel it. I was having tea with a dear friend and mentor during a particularly tumultuous time in my life. I was pouring out all my dilemmas when he held up a hand. "Stop," he said. "Your mind is busy and mine's starting to swirl just listening." If anyone else had said that, I might have been insulted, but I trusted this man. So I waited. He sipped his tea. He always measured his words, speaking only when the idea was fully formed. Finally, he asked me a question I'll never forget. "What if all of this isn't for you to fix?" My jaw dropped. "What? But I have to fix this. I can't go on this way." Again, he waved his hand. I didn't say it doesn't need fixing, he said. My question was, what if it isn't for you to fix? He went on to explain that in the past 24 hours, my body had replaced around 330 billion cells, and I had had absolutely nothing to do with it. The same something that does that also grows my nails, detoxes my liver, makes my heart beat, and produces thousands of thoughts every single day. Maybe, he said, that same something can take care of your problems, but you keep trying to do the job for it. He said it was like trying to hammer in a nail with your bare hands. Painful, slow, often doesn't work. And then he said something that hit me. Matter is never created or destroyed, only rearranged. Everything is already here. It just keeps changing form. Having a desire is like eating an apple. You do your part, and then the what takes over. Digesting, giving you energy, distributing nutrients, the parts that are nothing to do with you. You do nothing while the apple and your body deal with the whole process. That's the shortcut. Having the desire for something to change is like eating the apple. That's your part done. You let the stillness, the space between thoughts, do the work, because there's nothing more for you to do. And here's the beautiful part. As I sat with him, letting that sink in, I noticed new thoughts arising all by themselves. Some bubbled into ideas. A few excited me, and I felt the itch to act. I'd done nothing, yet something new had occurred to me, and I was ready and willing to take a step. Once I'd taken that step, guess what? Something else occurred to me, all by itself. You see, manifesting comes from peace and stillness, and peace is magnetic. It doesn't chase, it doesn't push, it doesn't panic, it receives. So if you're tired of trying to force results, if you're done trying to think your way into abundance, come watch Effortless Money Manifesting. It's just 10 minutes, and you'll see how to stop chasing results and let them come to you naturally. The link's at the top of the description, or just scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video.